We either get this or this. Stunning, 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 stunning. This is my first time filming with this camera. It's so exciting. Hi, welcome back. My name is Stephanie, and on this channel, I love talking about my houseplants. In today's video, I will specifically be talking about my Hoya. I know a large portion of you, a large number of my viewers, love me sharing my Hoya collection, and I haven't been doing it that much recently, so I thought, why not do something fun today and just share some of my Hoya collection. So recently on my community tab, I asked you, what was your favorite type of Hoya? Do you prefer variegated Hoya, splashy Hoya, or green? And it was neck and neck. It was neck and neck. I understand that it was a really tough question for some of you, including myself. Surprisingly, the results were not what I expected. A lot of you voted for Splashy Hoya and saying that that was your favorite kind. So I thought today, why not share with you some of my Splashy Hoya? I will be actually ranking them. So I'm going to rank all of the Splashy Hoya in my collection from least favorite to most favorite. I'm just having fun with my plants. You may have this plant in your collection that's giving you the most splash and it's your most perfect Splashy Hoya in your collection. I'm not saying that these are not beautiful Hoya, but these are the lower end of the list are the ones that, you know, could do better. And the higher end are the ones that are right now just doing a spectacular job of showing off and doing what they do best. Let's just get started. Let's get into it. I'm excited. I have 11 Hoya to talk about. So I just need to let you know the criteria, because there are some Hoya that are splashy, but unintentionally. I'm not sure if that makes any sense. For example, the Hoya Vietnam. My Hoya Vietnam is extremely splashy, but I don't think that most Hoya Vietnam are splashy, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to stick with Hoya that have either the name splash in the name, but also splash as in green and silverish splash. So there are some Hoya that are green on green, and so I'm going to save those for green Hoya, just to not make this video extremely long and just to sort of create some form of separation. Let's start with number 11, checking my list. Number 11 on my list is the Hoya Wilbur Graves Russia. It's sitting in water. You may be surprised a little bit by this, because my Wilbur Graves Russia is not exhibiting the most amount of variegation at this time. I have given this plant such high amounts of light, really, really high amounts of light, and I am surprised and a little bit, you know, disappointed that it's not giving as much splashiness as it could. I feel like it could do so much better with regard to the splashiness, and it's just not doing as good as it can do. This one I've heard in the rumor mill. I've just heard that this plant is a little bit trickier to keep it splashing. I don't know, but mine, even if I'm giving it very bright amount of light, it's still not giving that much splash. So I've had to actually chop it, and you may notice like right around here, I chopped it, and oops, it has begun. I'm losing like I chopped it, and hopefully it'll trigger some new variegation. But yeah, that's this one. I still love this plant. I just wish that it would be a little bit more loyal to the splash, but that's about it. That's number 11, my Hoya Carnosa Wilbur Graves Russia. On with our list, next in the number 10 spot is a plant that I've noticed maybe isn't known as being a splash. I've looked online, some say it's splashy, some say it's not. I don't know. So I just thought, let me just add it to the list because it is splashy, and that is the Hoya Rangsan. So that's this one here, the Hoya Rangsan. And the Hoya Rangsan is a Hoya that I love predominantly because of its, you know, it's unusual leaves. It's a bit on the pointier side, and it has this really nice splashing. Not a lot of my Hoya look like this one, and so it's a mixture of a latifolia and something else, but I could totally see the latifolia in the way it is presenting itself. I love the splashing. This one, I feel like it should be an easy Hoya, but for some reason I just can't get it to you know, look the way it can look. I think I finally have been able to get it to root. It took me a long time. That's what I'm trying to say. It took me a long time to root, and I think we're finally there. I have it cup in a cup. You know me. I keep it real here. This is its situation. It's in a cup, you know, in water. It has some, what's that? It has some perlite, chunky perlite at the bottom with in a cup of water. And I actually put some big chunks of leca. That way the roots can come out into the water and have some space to sort of linger in the reservoir. That way the roots aren't, you know, crushed under the weight of the cup in the reservoir. But anyways, that's this one. You know, it's given me just a couple new leaves, not that many. Maybe this new leaf right here, you know, maybe this one right here, not that many new leaves. But the splashing is cute. And I like it. I like it. It's a pretty plant, and I'm happy to have it in my collection. So that's the Hoya. I want to say latifolia, but it's not a latifolia. It's the Hoya Rangsan. And some online said it has splash. Some says no splash, but this one has splash. So Rangsan, splash. I don't know. Anyways, that's our number 10. The next one, number 9, is another one that has been on my struggle bus. Not gonna lie, it's been struggling, but I'm gonna give us all some hope. Since I've had my new setup for my plants, and we've got some serious grow light action happening, and the plants are sitting closer to the grow lights, the plants have been doing so much better. So number 10 on my list is the Hoya Rime Splash. So that is probably, I would say, the one exception of a plant that I know, we'll talk about this. One exception on a plant that has that green on green variegation, but I will only allow it because the name splash is there's splash in the name. So that's why I let it happen. But you'll see like the huge white little circular mark here on the plant. I may or may not have burnt it. Just trying to get this plant to do something. And in the past month, I would say it finally released this brand new leaf here. I'm so proud of it, and it seems to be doing really well. It's in my trusty Molly's aeroid mix. It's so funny, my mom just recently got a bag of aeroid Molly's. Actually today she got a bag of Molly's today, and she was just like a Molly's girl now. So she is definitely hooked on Molly's aeroid mix. Like the stuff is it's good stuff. It's good stuff. And so I use it for all my tricky Hoya. So yes, it actually is doing really well in the Molly's mix. I lost this part of it, as you will see, but because I cut it in two, and this was still it's still tight in there. So I'm just going to leave it because I don't want to disturb these roots. I just really don't want to disturb it at all. So I'm going to leave it in here, and look at this beautiful little leaf. It does have a decent amount of splashing. I'm trying something new with my video setup today. So, you know, I'm going to learn as I go. I may mess this up the first couple of times, but I have like the best viewers. Some of you are so nice and so supportive and so kind in the comments all the time. And y'all are so nice. And I really appreciate the patience and the kind words and understanding. Y'all are the best. So yes, I know you'll be understanding and patient with me as I try to figure out this new setup in an effort to bring you even higher quality content. It's happening. So anyways, yeah, that's this one, the Hoya Rime Splash. Our number 8. And this one is one that was never on my radar before, but now I got it a few months ago. Now I'm in love with this plant, and it is the Hoya Sigillatis. No splash in the name that I know of. Maybe there is a splash. When I put the name on the screen, I will put, you know, the actual, like, is there a splash? Is there no splash? I'll let you know. But this sweetheart it's coming after my heart. It's a sweet plant. I have it also in Molly's aeroid mix, another Molly's aeroid mix plant, and it is doing well. It has these beautiful silvery splashiness to the leaves. The Rime was more of this green splash, but this is more of a silvery splash, and it's a little bit pubescent, like ever underneath. The undersides are just ever so slightly pubescent, but I've been able to get some new growth on this plant. When I got it, the seller said she had nothing new on it for like forever, and she was just like, take it. So I thought, you know what, let me give it a try, and I put it in direct sunlight. I know, you know me, I'm not scared to put my plants in direct sunlight. Like, we either get this or this. Like, I'm not scared. I ain't never scared. Okay, I'm a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit scared sometimes. But anyways, yes, the results have been fantastic. It's been doing really well. And I just love the beautiful little splashiness. It's been so generous with the splashing, and these long, very elongated leaves. They're just beautiful. They're beautiful. I love it. It's a plant that I didn't expect to love, and I do have it in a reservoir, so you will see a little bit of, a little bit of moss on it. But yeah, I'm going to actually repot all of these plants soon. Most of my Hoya are going to get a nice little repot. I've got some new pots coming in tomorrow, so that's exciting. I was going to wait until that to show this to you guys, but there was such an overwhelming response on the poll that I thought, let's just get it out. Let's just give them some Hoya love, because the Hoya are ready to show and give you some love. So that's this little guy. Love it. Sigillatis is number 8, and this one was on my difficult Hoya list, and that is this one, my Hoya Michele. So as much of a diva as this plant is, such a diva. We're losing more. But anyways, as much of a diva as this plant is, when it does decide to grow and push out that variegation, like, watch out. It is stunning. It is gorgeous. It is generous with this splashy, beautiful leaf. It looks amazing. It can burn, so I did end up burning it just a little bit. But there are so many different understandings of how splash work on a Hoya. And I would love to tell you that I figured it out, but I haven't. And I know that there are differing opinions, but from what I have noticed with my plants in my collection, I have seen a significant connection between the amount of light and splashing. I know this is an unpopular opinion. So anyways, this is one of them, because like sometimes the light hits our plants predominantly on one leaf when it's emerging. And with this one, you can see that this leaf got most of the love, but then this leaf down here, you can see just where the light sort of ended. So it's a pattern you're going to see with some of my plants, so stay tuned. But anyways, this one has very little splashing on here, but the one that did give some splashing, it is chef's kiss. It is gorgeous. I absolutely love the splashing on this plant, and I'm just thinking, imagine like more of these leaves with this splashing. Like, that would just be incredible. Like a mature plant. If you like the latifolia snow queen, and that's hard to find a nice splashy version, I think this is a nice alternative to the latifolia snow queen, in my opinion. But that's this one. That's one I would say is my number 7, my Hoya Michele or Michele Splash. Love this one. And it's also in, I think I have it in perlite. It's sitting in perlite, and I did the same thing where it's like in a cup with some leca on the bottom to sort of give the roots some space, and it's living in under my grow lights. How's the video going so far? I really hope you like what you see. If you do, let me know by giving me a thumbs up down below, and you may want to subscribe. It's free and it'll help you to easily find my videos in the future. Let's keep going. Is number 6. So number 6 on the list is this one. Now, honestly, this one is quite a popular one. When we think of splashy Hoya, this one comes up to a lot of people's minds, and this one is the Hoya Mathilde Splash. The reason is because the Hoya Mathilde Splash is definitely one that really can show off and give you some magnificent variegation. So the Hoya Mathilde Splash is just spectacular. Mine is not the most splashiest specimen you'll ever see. You'll definitely see, a lot more splashier versions on the internet. And what a lot of people tend to do is chop off the non-splashy vine, chop it off at the splashiest base, the last place that it was the most splashy, and then the new leaves after that should be more splashy. But what's amazing about this plant is it almost has this very frosted look to it. It's iced. It really, really gives you a very exaggerated splash on it. I actually really love that about it. I love this plant. It can be very, very fast growing. I do find it to be a bit thirsty. I have to refill the reservoir quite quickly. Not my most thirsty Hoya by any means, but definitely very fast growing and quite thirsty. So I'm trying to see if I can find an example, or maybe I chopped off that leaf, but I had some leaves where you can see a sharp line. It's in one of my older videos. I think in my Hoya tour video from maybe a few months ago, I think in that one, I showed some leaves. Maybe I chopped off that leaf. I think I did. But some leaves where you can see a very defined line where the light, I think it's maybe in this leaf here, where the light was blocking. You could see maybe another leaf was covering it up. And so some of my leaves have this very sharp line on it, which looks like maybe the sun was blocking just that part of it. And so that's why it doesn't have variegation on those parts. I do believe I chopped off that leaf. I definitely have it on camera. It's just a matter of which video it's in, because I not accidentally, but I chopped off that leaf. But yeah, for me, I definitely find that there is a direct link between light and, of course, the quality of the specimen, the amount of variegation that's in the plant that you have to begin with. So yeah. But anyways, this is a pretty plant. It's really easy going, hard to get started, but when it started off, it's a good plant. I have mine growing in leca, not leca, pond. I always say leca, and it's growing DIY setup where I just put, a cup in a cup. Yeah, it's a bit mossy, and that's the con of this. It gets super mossy very easily. But soon, when I get my pots tomorrow, I do believe this is one of the candidates that's going to get a nice makeover. It's going to go in a self-watering pot and get trellised most likely, because I do think it may look a little bit better trellised, because it keeps sort of reaching for the light. And, I start to feel sorry for them after a while. But anyways, this is definitely a really splashy Hoya. Get a really good specimen and you will have splash for days. Very easy to trigger that splash in this plant. So anyways, that's this one, the Hoya Mathilde Splash. So we are quickly getting into some of my favorites. Number 5 is this one, the Hoya Carnosa Wilbur Graves, but the China form. It's so funny because I sought after the Russian form of this plant because I prefer the shape of the leaves. It has sort of a more oval-like shape, and the China is a lot more less oval, if I should say, a little bit more pointed in its leaf shape. But this one has been amazing in honoring that variegation. I stinking love this plant. I was so surprised, so surprised, because when I originally got it, I did not have high expectations because of how easily the Wilbur Graves Russia reverted on me, and I did not have high expectations. But then I think it had just these 2 leaves here when I got it. I can't quite remember, but I think so. Yeah, I think it just had these 2 leaves, and these 2 leaves were so highly variegated, or splashy, I should say, that I thought to myself, you know what, it's worth a try. I think it's worth it. So I got it, and so far it's given me the most beautiful splashing so far. I have kept it in the pot that it came with. So I bought it from Jenna at Jenna's Plants. And so I kept it in the reservoir, in the pot that she gave me it with. And do you know, this cup is from, your laundry detergent, the cup that's on the head of the detergent. I've been using these as, to propagate, as propagation cups, just filling it with water. And I've been using it as reservoirs for some of my plants. So there you go. Let's recycle, people. Fun and easy ways to recycle. So yeah, eventually this plant is going to get uppotted, but not for now. It's doing well here, and I'm going to keep it like this. And yeah, that's it. That's my Hoya Wilbur Graves Russia and China, and it is number 5 on the list. Plant number 4. You can probably already see it in the frame, but it's this one. It's my Crassi. I call her Crassi. It's my Hoya Crassipetiolata Splash. I love this plant. It is such a happy plant. And I call it happy because of how easy it is. It's so happy, it's so easy, and it's so splashy. It's a plant that really maintains this beautiful splashy variegation. I mean, I know I had a very nice specimen to begin with because I had another specimen that wasn't as splashy. Let's see if I can show you down here. So if you look down here, this one was not as splashy. I'm not sure if you could see it, but in the earlier leaves, it wasn't as splashy, but then it started pushing out some much more splashy leaves. And if you look here, the newer ones are definitely a lot more splashy than the earlier ones. So this plant is such a forgiving plant. It's such a fast grower. It's stunning. It's so easy. I recommend this plant for beginners. Super satisfying. It makes you feel like you're a great plant parent, like you know what you're doing. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful plant. I would recommend it. And the splashing is stunning. It has those, how do I put it? It has those like, it almost looks like you took paint and like a brush with just the tiniest bit of paint left on it, and you just sort of went, you just went, and you know, it just looks so random. The splashing just looks so random, but not as sort of, not sectoral, but not as divided as some of the other splashing could look on other ones. It literally just looks like you just took a brush and you just splattered the paint, the splashing on it. And I love it. I love it. It's a beautiful plant. And I think I recommend it. I've noticed it starting to make its way into nurseries. I've noticed, is it maybe the green version in nurseries now? But even the green version I recommend because it's so, if you just want a fast growing, easy growing Hoya, this one's it. And the splashy version is just, you know, chef's kiss. It's just a cherry on top to get that really splashy version. But anyways, I have it here growing in Molly's aeroid mix. You know I love this stuff in my DIY self-watering pot. It is thirsty. It's thirsty, but yeah, no, I was going to say it's slow down in its growth and thirst, but that's not true. It's still quite thirsty. And yeah, I'm not sure if it'll be part of my repotting group. Yeah, but definitely a plant I love and would recommend. This one's a good one. See, Crassi was number 4. So we're in our top 3. I really hope I didn't skip any. I'm looking down at my chart here. I don't think I skipped any because brilliant me, I do not have it in numerical order. Like it would just make so much sense, but that's boring. That's really boring. So anyways, number 3 is this one. Let me show you one that I waited a while before I found just the perfect specimen of this plant, and that is the Hoya Joy Splash. Love this plant. You have seen this plant on my channel before. Absolutely love it. Look at that leaf. Look at it. The splashiness, like, and there's a little bit of texture to it, like a little bit of roughness, not roughness, but unevenness on that leaf. It's just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. I know it's green on green splash, but you know what? There's a non-splashy version of this plant. So I thought I'll still add it to this list because it's technically splash. But anyways, this one, I love this leaf. Just this, I can't even explain, this sort of like a yellowy green sort of, and I love yellow, and I just look at it and I can see just the tiniest bit of yellow in it. I can't explain it. It's just so gorgeous. But it is a reverter. I will say that it can easily start to give you those leaves with no splashing on it. So I have put it in a spot where now it's going to get very, very high amounts of light. And so hopefully this will start to trigger some new growth. But it's a plant that I would say grows in spurts. It will sort of push a bunch of growth and then stop and then vine, and then do it again and stop and vine. And it hates being repotted, just like all Hoya, but I repotted it. I was so careful. I have this repotting on camera, and it was pushing out 3 new leaves. I lost all 3. It was very silly of me to think that I could repot it while those leaves were so delicate and so young, but you know, I tried it, and that's what happened. So don't do that. That's a lesson. Don't do what Stephanie did. That's why I'm here, to know what not to do. I mean, a little bit of what you can do, but don't do that. Let the leaves harden off and get really nice and big first, because this plant, it was so root bound. I thought I was doing it a favor, but Hoya like being root bound. That's something we know about Hoya. And so if you must repot, wait until the new leaves are grown. But as you can see, it's trying to refill this pot. So Hoya will do that as they realize that you've changed something about their environments and they have more space. A lot of times they will start vining while they fill out the roots. And then when it feels like it knows its parameters, that's when they'll start to push out new growth again. So that's this. I really do want to repot it. I know I said it again, and put it in a like a real pot, like a nice self-watering pot, because it gets so tippy. It dries out so quickly. The reservoir dries out so fast, and it gets really tippy, and it's really dangerous. And I'm so afraid that I damage it. So I really want to repot it, but again, that's risky because, you know, it doesn't like being repotted, this plant especially. But Joy Splash, love it. If you want this plant, find a really good specimen. It's so worth it. And down for our number 2, our second on our list is this one. La da 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 da, trying not to break it, but I need to get up. And this is my Hoya Obovata Splash. The splashy version of this plant is getting more and more common, and this plant is stunning. Stunning, 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 stunning. Absolutely love this plant. Another plant that I think the splashing is directly linked to the lighting. Also, sometimes this plant can get like, you know, these little wrinkly leaves, and I do believe that is tied to watering. It is so thirsty. These big broad leaves lose water very quickly, and so I need to fill up this reservoir at least, sometimes in less than a week. Sometimes every 3-4 days, I need to refill this reservoir. So it loses water very quickly. And because of that, I always end up with these sort of deformed looking leaves. But apart from that, it's such a very beautiful, very happy plant. Give it high amounts of light, and I do believe it will give you a very nice version with some very splashy leaves. Absolutely love it. There's not much I could say. I'm a sucker for like broad leaves, big broad leaves. I love that. I like plants with big leaves, and so this plant, it gives that. Leaves, big leaves, and splashing. Love it. And it's pushing out some nice new growth for me here. 3 new leaves, and I think it's about time. It needs some support. So that's why I have it sort of attached, not attached, but sort of leaning on this with the grow light in front of it. But anyways, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I need to figure it out. And then we'll see what I do in my upcoming repotting video. It's coming. So maybe next week you'll get this video, the repotting video. So stay tuned. Subscribe if you like content like this, especially Hoya. But yeah, that's it. That's my number 2, my Hoya Obovata Splash. I can't with this plant. Gorgeous. Next, we have number 1. I wonder how many of you, I have some of you who watch my channel a lot, so you may have guessed it already, but my number 1 for my splashy Hoya, and when I saw it, I thought that's number 1. I already knew it was number 1 when I saw it. Number 1 is my Hoya Carnosa Freckles Splash. This plant, this plant is like the mama version of the Hoya Mathilde Splash. Can you say splashy? Can you say ice? It's just such a beautiful plant. Look at this. So splashy, so beautiful. And it's such a beautiful plant that even when it's not very splashy, like some of these leaves, when they're not splashy, I know I talked about this plant recently, but in case you didn't watch that video, like it is just beautiful. Even the non-splashy leaves have this very deep sort of looking, dark, mysterious, like they're a bit deeper leaves. So beautiful. I love it. And I don't know. I don't know what to say. I just love this plant so much. It literally reminds me of stars. When I think of it, when I look at it, it reminds me of stars. It just reminds me of just clusters of stars when you look up at the night sky. And is gorgeous. I really recommend this plant and getting a nice splashy version of it. It will give you like half splash. When I say half, I mean like one leaf will be really splashy and the other will not. It behaves so similarly to the Mathilde. I do find they're very, very similar in their behavior and characteristics, but they are beautiful plants and I recommend this. Put it on a trellis, let it grow up, let it, you know, reach for the lights. And yeah, it's a beautiful plant. But again, I'm not sure why it does this half splash, one splashy leaf, one not splashy leaf. Not sure if like one's facing the light, one is not facing the light. Not sure if that's why, but gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. And that's my favorite one. And that's it for my super quick, fun video of my super splashy Hoya. Like my favorites, a countdown, which ones are my favorites, just something fun and just something quick. So tell me, what are your most splashy Hoya in your collection? What are your favorites? What should I be checking out? Some of you have the best recommendations for me. Tell me what I should be looking out for. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you may like some of these other videos on my channel. And please subscribe. It helps me out a lot. It assures me that I will see you back here again. Thanks for watching. See you next time. I would also like to extend a warm thanks to our channel Patreons. There's Rachel in the Diamond Falls tier and Lainey in the Pigeon Island tier.